Or is it just like, oh, okay, there we go. Well, welcome into week 3, Bully the Board. This will be our second installment. We had some technical difficulties for week 2, but we're happy to be back and better than ever with week 3. We're going to recap week 2. It was an interesting one. We will talk about some of the futures picks, and then we'll break down week 3 card. It's very exciting. We got 9 games in total. But I guess first and foremost, Kevin, how you feeling? We're 3 weeks in.
3 weeks in, it feels somewhat a little bit like it's been 3 years. But no, I mean, overall, man, yeah, it's good to be in the thick of things. Like we were dying just for football season to get here, and I'm glad it's here. I'm having fun most days.
Yeah. And Steve, what about you? What are your thoughts? 3 weeks in.
Yeah, I mean, overall, football's back. Football is king. But what the fuck was last week? I know we're going to talk about that in a second, but holy shit.
I guess that's no better segue. If we want to just hop right in and look at week 2 in the card. And man, oh man, did week 2 be fickle. It started on Thursday. Although, to be honest, I think it's worth, being fair. I think that was less of a bad beat of all the bad beats we took. I think that one was, it was fair to lose. It was fair to lose that one. Did it hurt? Yes. But Steve, break that down for us. We go into Thursday night. That was an interesting matchup. And then before Herbert gets hurt, though, looks like we're screwed.
Yeah,
this is the pick, right?
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, listen. I was actually traveling this weekend, and I was watching this game on my phone in a restaurant. Trying not to lose my shit or work dinner. But it was tight at first. And then Chiefs just start pulling away. And you're thinking, we've got this in the bag. And I remember, ordering a bottle of wine, celebratory toast and whatnot. And I'm like just talking, and I look back down, just glance at the score. I'm like, oh shit. Because anytime there's a chance for a backdoor cover and that team's thriving, because I've been burned so many times, I knew. I fucking knew. So they hell of a drive in the last series going for, I think it was maybe a minute and some change left. They scored Chargers scored that last touchdown. So
2 fourth downs. They burned us. They got through one fourth down, like a 30-40 yard gain. Then kill us, put us to our misery there. So that was the beginning, and then we moved into Sunday. And Kevin, I mean, you break this down. I mean, this was wild. If Steve, you look down and you fucking had a heart attack with Chiefs, Kevin, what happened when you?
I mean, this was otherworldly, basically. I mean, the early round of the games, man, things were actually looking not bad, relatively speaking.
Not perfect. I would say perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine. Fair. The Ravens were having a great game. The Browns were having a great game. The Steelers and Patriots were back.
Yeah, that was the one.
But that
Lions,
the Lions. Well, yeah, and so I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna start off the day great. It's gonna be a good Sunday, and then like the last 5 minutes of the Ravens game and of the Browns game in particular was some of the worst bad beat football I could have imagined. Yeah, there was really no word to describe it. I know Seth, you were going live for a lot of the early round games, so you must have been like losing your shit in real time.
Yeah, it was literally like in 5 minutes. It was like I like was on live. I was like, Kimberly, that was like a $1,500 swing that just like happened. Like, and I like it's even more funny looking back now because I was like, you bought like as gamblers, like. Yes, we're using a model, but we have money on this, so we're betting, right? And so we're gamblers. We get emotional. We have, all the, I had the Fiji water. Like I'm praying the Fiji gods, like anything and everything. But I'm like sitting there, like bargaining, like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna, push on Browns. Man, that sucks. They should have made the PAT, but I'll take a push because we had -6. And then Ravens, I'm like, same thing. Just kick this field goal, all good. And then like it just got worse and worse and worse. And then. Yeah, it just was a gift that kept giving. I've never seen anything like it. I looked this up. So at 1 minute 30, the Cleveland Browns had legitimately a 99.9% chance to win. Now I know that is not covering, but they lost the game.
Absolutely bonkers. Yeah. So very
man.
very rough way to kick off the early set of games, and then once we transition into the later round of games, I'm thinking to myself like, wow, it feels like we're chasing already, like, to use a gambling term, it felt like we need some help just to, like, salvage the day. And ironically enough, we talked about this all week leading up to last week. We hated the Cardinals pick. And we were very close, certainly through halftime and most of the third quarter too, to having that one just be an outright loss, no questions asked, But then finally we were on the right side of a backdoor cover,
And
so
I don't know if you guys saw, the Rams was a backdoor as well. They were covering and they blocked a punt for no reason.
Exactly, I know. That shit was wild, man. Oh, God.
Man.
So it was the bad beat weekend, baby. That's how I encapsulated it, man. It was just...
Now, can I ask though? So, of all those bad beats, what hurt the most? Which one hurt the absolute most for you guys?
I mean, for me, Ravens, because that was the game on TV for me. Like I was dialed into that shit, and I just couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what to expect between the Browns and the Jets. I thought the Browns were, like, I guess, better than what they've been showing so far.
Yeah.
But me hands down Ravens, man. Fucking Tua time though. Let's go. Fins up.
It was Rams for me. It was Rams because I felt like a little kid being punished because all that had happened to me, and here I am, like, okay, look, we got the Lions win. Moving on to the afternoon games. Rams are just handling them, right? They're just moving the ball, scoring, no problemo. Like, okay, just finish this thing out, just run the ball out, no problem. And then I'm like, it's like in the fourth, and I see Matt Stafford throwing interceptions. I'm like, whoa. And then that's like, same feeling. I'm like, I've seen this movie before. Yeah. And then sure enough, I remember I was on live and I was like, they just blocked the punt. We're no longer covering. Like, it was so like my family just died. And it just felt like a punishment. It just felt like a punishment because it's like when you're covering for like so much of the game and then just wild one or two things happen and it just like shakes your world. And then those happen back to back to back. It was like, man, I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, so it was two for me. One was the Ravens for everything you just said, Seth, about your covering and how you get outscored by 25 points in the fourth quarter alone. Yeah. And I think what would hurt even more was, so I was in California the weekend, right? So they don't have sports betting, so I couldn't bet. I placed all my bets before I left, so there was nothing I could do. In one sense, it was kind of good because I couldn't chase, but in another sense, it was like, you just feel like this sense of doom, like, oh man, I just lost the Chiefs in a bad beat. Now I lost the Ravens in a bad beat. Like, this is gonna go all downhill. Like, my life is over. The other one that hurt, that it really wasn't a bad beat, but that Steelers game. So like I said, I was in Cali for the weekend, so I placed all my bets and I had like a little shoot for the stars, excuse me, parlay 9-teamer, and guess and I lost that leg. I lost that parlay by one leg. And guess which one I lost by? Steelers. I had fucking Steelers. So
did you not push it? You didn't get it at 3, you got it at 2.5.
Right. No, actually I ended up I got him at 1.5 actually. So it wouldn't matter. And it wouldn't matter either way. Sure. Yeah. So damn. Yeah, it was tough, man. So yeah, it was a lot of pain.
I wouldn't call that a bad beat, but it came down to basically one special teams turnover that game. I mean, we could have won that game. We could have easily won that game.
Yeah. They had just got to stop, and then they
big momentum, and then
and they fumbled the punt return.
That one saved, honestly, my sanity a little bit because I did get it at +3.
You got a 3, right?
So at least I pushed.
God bless you.
But right. And then after, dude, and then going into the Sunday night game, Packers Bears, I'm like, all right. Yeah. I felt pretty confident about this one going in.
Yeah.
Just from an emotional standpoint, there's no way.
They almost tried to backdoor us there too. I mean, legitimately. I mean, they got to the goal line and it was dude. I was. Yeah,
it was, but I don't know that one. At that point, I was saying to myself, like, if they, whatever happens. If they don't cover here, I was half numb already at that point. I was like,
Yeah.
All right, but so I'd literally say I could,
Yeah.
I felt life breathe into me again.
I will say
Something-
this too, like from the model standpoint, the thing that really was like more sad to me was that legitimately, if those games just end, the Browns just end, the Ravens game just ends, the model was spot on. It was like almost perfect. It was just such a crazy anomaly that these things happen in these like just bam, 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 and all of a sudden. But like the games, if the Browns would have won, if the Ravens would have won, basically like they should have. I mean, it was right in the confidence interval, it was right in the sweet spot. So it is what it is. But I guess to bring up the next part, a little bit of better news out of week 2, our futures picks. So these are progressing pretty good, especially week 2 was a little bit even more good news. Colts struggling, Bengals struggling, and Carolina struggling, and then we had kind of, I guess you could call it a push between our 2 overs. Kevin, let's go to you first. Any one of these, is your favorite, or one? I mean, we're doing pretty good, so it's hard to say one you're sweating, but what's your take here?
So I feel better by the day, by the week about the indie play specifically. Like preseason or going into it, you kind of have those thoughts like, well, who's like gonna put up a fight in their division for them or against them, and you're thinking Matty Ice could salvage a relatively decent season and like be a savvy vet and do some good things. But yeah, to get blanked by the Jags, to look as bad as they have, I mean, that one has been shocking, but I feel, like I said, great about that as things goes on. The one that makes me feel still like, and it's early, a lot can happen, but the Patriots one in particular, like that hook now, that 8.5 now looks like really daunting. They're just looking like little chicken shits basically.
Yeah.
So
not too
thrilled with that, but otherwise.
Yeah, Steve, what is your take here?
I'm loving that under 10 Bengals. Love. Between the AFC North and the way that O-line has looked like absolute dog shit in the first 2 games. Yeah, I don't see them coming anywhere close to 10. So I'm loving that. I'm feeling that. The Colts is, I think it's okay. I feel the best about the Panthers in terms of like a team that's not going to put it together. However, that 6.5 is just such a low win total. So never say never, but love the Bengals. What about you,
Seth? Put some wins together. I definitely side with Kevin. Going in, I thought when you have models, you don't expect to go perfect. That's not a reasonable expectation. Right. So when I was looking at this, like, okay, where's the 1 or 2 going to be wrong? Colts going to be one of them. So I'm surprised, to be honest, that this is one of the ones that doesn't look to be wrong. It's trending probably way ahead. I actually looked; it's already at 8. It's moved to 8.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the Saints haven't really put it together, even though they're 1-1, but they haven't really put it together. Like, I think maybe I would have thought, like, they have all these wide receivers. They got Alvin Kamara, Jameis will just sling the ball whenever, however. But it still looks like he's turning the ball over, and they haven't exactly put it together. So that one will be the one to watch. But again, I'll take 3 and 2 here all day. I mean, that's profit, baby.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of can segue us into week 3, because you were talking about the Bengals, and we have them on our card, and the Saints as well. So I guess let's jump in week 3. You'll see the record up there. It does reflect, a pretty brutal week 2. Overall 5-8, and that was really driven by the 7 losses last week in week 2. But time marches on, and here we go with the model. So I guess we can jump right in. Saints -3. This is I believe in Carolina.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think probably the narrative here is Matt Rule and his job, right? I think he loses this game, he may lose his job. So
you're probably right, man. They have not put it together. I thought Baker would have a little more of that dog in him, man. Like he was obviously jacked up. I don't know what you expect him to say getting traded from one team to another, but like he was jacked up for the season
in that fashion.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey coming back healthy, like he's supposed to be good again, quote unquote. But now hasn't. So this game in particular is like one of those. We'll have another one later in the season, but it's a double whammy. If the Saints win, that helps obviously this play and then the 2 futures picks directly.
Yeah. Oh shit! So, I didn't even connect those dots. Yeah. All right. The perfect play here for us is not only is a triple. This is a triple threat. I didn't even realize this. Yeah. Saints cover. We get the model bet for the game. They get the W for the record, and we get the loss for the Carolina
Panthers under.
Yeah. So this one's interesting. From an emotional standpoint, this one doesn't make me nervous. Now we've learned the hard way last week that, and we'll give you our thoughts, but again, that's the reason we take the picks. But emotionally, how does this make you feel, Steve?
No, I have no fear whatsoever. I'm not scared on this one. Now, listen, have I been wrong before? Absolutely. Have I put my foot in my mouth, all the goddamn time? But yeah, I mean, I look at this game, I look at this matchup, and the Saints are trending the right way, even though there's going to be some growing pains and getting it together. And the Panthers they're going to be the Panthers. I mean, you see that quote from CMC where I guess they had a little thing about him being on the watch list for injury. He's like, if I take a piss, I feel like I'm on the injury watch list now. So yeah. And then you got Jameis on the other side. At some point we got to cue in the clip of the Mike Tyson. My back is broken. My back's final. Final. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think the Saints have got it. They're a lot closer to getting this season figured out and being the dominant team than Carolina is.
Yeah, and I think from what I looked this morning, I think Alvin Kamara is on track to come back here for this game. He's out week 2. I think that's a big addition here. Improves the run game. Maybe we see, a breakout for Michael Thomas or any of the other wide receivers. But yeah, again, emotionally for me, this one makes sense. Kevin, it sounds like you agree.
I do agree. Yeah. So the fact that we're all aligned, either will be prescient or will be an absolute.
Yeah. Like we said last, it didn't get posted, but we were like, we hated the Cardinals. So now it's so funny that like of all the games that went our way, like that was the one that was the one that bounced our direction. It's pretty funny. All right, well,
and a backdoor bad beat. On top of that.
Yeah, that was a backdoor for sure. But we were on the right side of that one,
right? Exactly. One for the good guys.
Yeah, for real. And I guess that brings us. Speaking of good guys, Steve, that brings us into your Chicago Bears.
Yes, sir.
I will say. Emotionally, this one doesn't make me feel good. I would pick if I was picking, I would pick Houston here. Now, I think this is going to be an interesting one. I'm really interested to see what Justin Fields does, but how does this one make you feel?
I love this one. And let me be clear. I'm not saying that because I'm a Bears fan. As a Bears fan, I am conditioned to lose. And I'm conditioned to expect to lose, right? I mean, being Trey Lance and the 49ers is my Super Bowl. So this is all house money as far as I'm concerned. But no, I mean, I think what you're seeing is the same issues we saw with the Bears for the longest time. It's not just the play on the field. And I'm not excusing Fields and the O-line, but it's the system, and this is the same reason why Mitch Trubisky, did better. Now he had a bad week this week, but he's been doing better since he left Chicago. The O-line is trash. The play calling is trash. There's no targets, no plays designed for Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney, your top 2 explosive threats, as pass catchers. What are we doing? And Matt Eberflus has been on the hot seat, and he said, we got to do better with that. We got to get the ball out of Fields' hands. So I think you're going to see a lot of that. I think you're going to see an overcorrection. I think they're going to, just throw it down Houston's throat. So
yeah, the interesting thing though is I think that Houston's kind of Achilles heel, though, interestingly enough, is maybe the run defense. So, is this the best time to start throwing the ball, or is this the best time to go back and start running the rock?
Whatever the wrong answer is what Chicago will do. That's the one thing you can bank on. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, no, I think when you look at this, there's a lot of rumors and whispers because remember Eberflus didn't draft Fields. That was prior to his arrival. So there's some talks about, well, is Fields really his guy and whatnot? So I think you got to answer to the fans. They're going to try to, for better or worse, see can Fields be that franchise QB and rest on his shoulder. So we'll see.
Isn't this his first year? You're saying you said he was already on the hot seat. Isn't this his only second game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look how long Mark Trestman. Listen, when you talk about Bears head coaches,
it's like dog years over there, man.
Yeah. If your name's not Lovie Smith, that seat's hot when you get in. But
Okay, fair enough. Kevin, how about you? Does this one tickle your fancy or scare the shit out of you?
The only thing that gives me a modicum of comfort is that the Bears are at home here.
Okay, bear down.
Which I don't know. Hopefully, they just know how to play better in that condition, in that weather, than Houston does, being a dome team. But beyond that, just to everything that Steve said, like he's like, "Oh, I feel good about this," and then just talk shit for like 2 minutes there. So I share his sentiment on everything that's wrong with them. So this one does not exactly, it's not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I will say this is the plural of anecdote is not data, but interesting enough, I don't know if you guys have shopped this too yet. Have you guys tried to find it?
I didn't look today, but I did look yesterday, or whatever, and I didn't see it anywhere. The closest
PointsBet and FanDuel have it blocked. You cannot get to. I found that pretty interesting. We'll get to Commanders earlier, but I found the same scenario with 8 there. I don't know. I'm going to take that as good, a positive thing that they're blocking that for some reason.
Right.
This one luckily isn't too juiced. We can get it's at 2.5.
Right.
I think I got it at 118. So not having to pay too much to get that at 2. But the model, telling us we got to get it at getting at 2. It's not too much of an inconvenience here, but it'll be interesting. This one, I could see this one actually being close, right? I could see this being like a low scoring field goal game, and hopefully good guys are on the right side this time. But that'll be an interesting one. Good luck to your Bears, Steve. I hope we're rooting for them hard this week. Putting our money where our mouth is there. And that brings us into maybe the biggest, well, not the biggest marquee, but what I think will be the biggest punishment and mismatch here, and that's the Chargers. I believe this is in San Diego, or is this in Jacksonville?
It's in LA.
Okay, in LA. So no Duval. They got to travel to LA. As far as I can tell, healthy Herbert, but still a little bit of a question mark after last week. Steve or Kevin, let's start with you. What are your thoughts here? -7. Really like this at 6.5, but it is what it is at 7. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, biggest caveat here, assuming Herbert starts, then we're all good here. And if that is the case, and he can be mostly himself, I love this one. I would be all
and an Allen back as well. They're on Allen watch to come back as well. So Keenan Allen maybe.
That's a big deal, because I forgot he was out at the Chiefs game too. So I forgot about that. That's a boon too, for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, interesting that the public is absolutely slamming Jacksonville plus 7 here. I guess maybe to be fair, like it did open at +10. I'm not exactly sure when it did, but it's come down obviously since then. But yeah, the Chargers are a very good team, man. Very close to beating the Chargers basically, and handle business week 1. The defense is really, really solid. Like even though the Jags shut out Indy, and maybe that's kind of like why the public is riding them, a little bit of recency bias, but I feel extremely confident in this one.
Yeah, and the model's on your side there. I think the lower end of the conference was 21 points, so 3-possession game here.
AKA two-score game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Steve, what about you?
Yeah, I have one question. So Herbert has that rib cartilage injury, right?
Yeah,
that was the big thing. Do you think the same doctor is working on Herbert as the doctor who worked on Tyrod Taylor?
It is.
All right. So it is wild that Justin Herbert. I'm not saying he wouldn't be who he is today, but we wouldn't have gotten Justin Herbert as we know him today if some doctor didn't almost kill Tyrod Taylor.
Punctured his lung.
Like that is insane. So
right.
I guess So I guess my whole point is, depending on what the doc does, I guess my money may be on Jacksonville actually, or I will say over under 0.5 punctured lungs is my bet. That's my lock. Go ahead and lock it in. You heard it here first. No, I agree. I think this is going to be an absolute blowout. Listen, Jacksonville is Jacksonville. They're showing signs of life, last week, but Robinson's he's emerging as their running back threat there, and Sunshine is kind of getting it together. But it's LA, they're championship or bust. We always say that about the Chargers and whatnot, but I think they're not pretenders. So I think they're going to come out. They had sort of a rough not as impressive start in my opinion. I think this is a beat up game. I think this is a college football score, kind of weekend.
Right.
Yeah, I totally
100%.
agree. I think that the Colts were injured. In fact, the Colts were so injured they didn't practice on Friday. They canceled practice on Friday. This is legitimate, and they had a bunch of defensive starters out. I mean, the model will say what it says, but personally, if Allen doesn't play, if Herbert doesn't play, I still think the Chargers kill, because I think this defense is going to harass Trevor Lawrence, and I think he's going to throw multiple picks. This is going to be a bloodbath from a defensive standpoint for them. I don't see any way out. This is not. I mean, think about what Patrick Mahomes had to do. He's slinging sidearm. I mean, he can do that, right? Trevor Lawrence cannot do that. Cannot even come close to doing that. And the offensive line. I mean, dude, if Keenan Allen's back, this looks like to be what the Bills have been doing to people. And it could be even worse with a guy that has shown that when he gets antsy in the pocket, he will throw picks. So I'm not surprised the model is highly taking this. I
know this wouldn't be a play for us if Herbert doesn't start if he's not the starter.
Yeah.
But to your point, you think they would still cover? I mean, I'm assuming that line would move pretty significantly if Herbert doesn't start. So. But you think they would still cover -7?
I think so.
Okay.
Off the defense. I mean, I can see a 14-0 game, or this is current NFL. You're probably going to get one or two scores, but I mean, I guess they shut out the Colts.
Right. Yeah,
so, and we know the Colts. I mean, this is the perfect storm so far from what I've seen. The data, the model will learn, and the data will be what it is. But as of now, I think what's setting up is that Colts are not as good as they were, which makes sense. Matt Ryan's probably still learning. They had injuries. They didn't practice. That's pretty big. Friday practice NFL.
You rarely hear about that. That's wild.
Yeah, Friday.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah, is the most important practice. That's when, if you're going to start or not. Usually, that's when the cutoff is Friday. That's when your main walkthroughs are. They did not have. I mean, sure they had. I'm sure a version, right? But they did not go pads. They didn't do any of that. That's how banged up they were from having a tough physical game where they tied Houston. They I didn't realize this went under the radar. They cut their kicker because he missed.
Right. Yeah.
Blankenship. They cut him. Go Dogs. And so I think this is Washington being all right. This is Colts being all right, and they've lost and won one of those, and then here we are. They're going to play an elite team, and I don't think that's going to go very well, personally. But we'll see. We learned our lesson last week. Put in motion. Yeah. But hey, we're betting with the model, guys, and that's kind of the beauty of this. Like, we can put our spin on us justifying, the sweat, so to speak, or enjoying the sweat.
In case anybody who hasn't checked out our TikTok page or seen us or whatever, I mean, when you hear us talking about this stuff too, just because we like one of these bets emotionally more than the other, we're not hammering one of them more than the other. We all use the same. I mean, we all, I think, individually have our own like unit basically, but we're all consistently betting the same amount for each play.
Yep.
So
100%. Yeah, and we're betting with the model. Now, this is our more entertaining take on us breaking down the games and putting our personal spins on them, because we want to have fun with it, and we want to enjoy what the model is giving us, and it'd be a little bit of entertainment for us rather than just sweating, the analytics. So speaking of sweating, in my mind, Patriots +3. This one does got me shaking. I hear the haters in the comments tell me that we're the dumbest people of all. I can't lie to you. You're hitting me in my heart, because I'm like, I kind of agree with you. Steve, what are your thoughts here? Like you said, you broke down the Steelers game, but they don't look like that efficient of an offense, and that's what scares me.
No. Yeah, Pittsburgh definitely is not the same offense as Baltimore. I'm torn. I half hate this bet with all my heart, and I have think like, actually this is a pretty smart bet. For two reasons. One, the gut feeling, right? I mean, you look at Lamar and the offense and what happened last week in Miami, right? And part of you, just as an athlete, as a someone who has pride in their craft, you got to think this is going to be a statement game, that they're going to come out, they're going to give 110%, all the other sports cliches to not let that happen and show that, hey, we're actual contenders. On the other hand, if there's any coach in the NFL that can look at someone's weakness and say, oh, yeah, we're going to press that fucking button, it's got to be Belichick, right?
Yep.
And so, the Patriots defense, I mean, listen, the Patriots remind me of like the 05 Pistons, right? Like there's no like real sexy names in that roster, but they're a solid team, like they're solid. And so, I think, you can definitely do some defensive schemes, do whatever Miami did on both sides of the ball to try to recreate whatever they found success with late. So I can see it going both ways. I would feel much better with 3.5, but I can see it. I can see it being close.
Yeah, maybe there's something weird to that whole thing where the Patriots like didn't officially name or didn't give like titles to their coaches, or what was that? What was that situation? Like they don't officially have an offensive or defensive coordinator.
Right. Offensive coordinator, they still haven't. That's still like behind the paywall, so to speak.
Maybe there was some legs to that because their offense has not looked good, and to Steve's point, they don't have a ton of names on that side of the ball. It's not sexy for sure, but. It's looking like they're basically taking turns calling plays. There's no consistency or flow. It's just it's all over the place. So I'm with you that this one got me shaking in my boots a little bit. I think Lamar and co will probably do some damage on the ground against them. Even though New England does, by a few metrics have a good rush defense. But if they get up, if Baltimore gets up by 7 or 10, New England's not coming back. They're not built for that.
Yeah, and say they do stop the run. I mean, they still can be a threat. Over the.
That's right. Yeah, Lamar's airing that shit out this year.
I'm with you, Steve. Though, like the thing I do like about the model is you can like get these sharp plays that I would never make in a million fucking years. I had never taken Patriots +3 if this is me. Never, ever. I'm not even looking at it. I'm not even like, no way. This is, a lot of the gut reactions like we get in the comments and things like that, guys. Yes, but the thing is, you're emotional about it. Like a computer is looking at all these scenarios and doing things and putting true like numbers behind them where you're just like, ain't no fucking way, ain't no way this can't happen, right? So this is the gift and the curse of the model. You can be looking real dumb, but you could be looking real smart, right? And let's just hope this is one of those ones where we're like, the model knows what's up. The model knows what's up. All right, bringing us up on the corner there, we got Bengals. This one's interesting because Bengals, the model, the over-under totals had said that they'd struggle, but I don't know that I would have thought they'd struggled this much. And this one is interesting, right? They're going into New York where they lost last year. They're 0-2. They're getting sacked a million times. Burrow's throwing picks like crazy. He tried to do the classic, come from behind stuff in Pittsburgh. They almost did it. Pretty much did it, but then, just got screwed there on the last. But Kevin, how do you feel about this one? What are your kind of takes here? -5 is a weird number. This is kind of a middling, I don't even know what you make of a 5, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And for whatever reason, I know there's not a ton of consistency that you can draw year over year, but like the Jets oddly, have like had their number recently. So that's an interesting little sort of revenge game narrative setting up here. But and for the Bengals, to your point, like it is weirdly like deja vu from last year. I mean, they struggled in the early part of the season until they kind of figured it out and obviously made the run. But it's been surprising in an unpleasant way, man. Like it was fun to watch that offense churn, baby. Like Burrow and Chase combo, like that's some sexy stuff on the field, but it's looked pretty pathetic, frankly. So this one does not instill a lot of confidence, frankly. But I have, let's put it this way, more faith in Burrow and co than I do Flacco and co.
Yeah, same. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, listen, I want to first off say the Bengals are going to New Jersey, not New York. And so just to peel the curtain back a little bit, guys. So when we do these clips, we record, we do little clips and whatnot. We come up with like these little one-liner intro hooks, right, to make for social media. And we had one about it was the Commanders game. And we're talking like, oh, you know, it's the no-fly zone because in the nation's capital. I was like, what's it's the stadium in the actual capital? Is that? And so it's like, man, fuck that shit. Somebody comes in the comments like, oh, well, actually, it's in this city. It's not that. I will lose my fucking shit. And sure enough, there's somebody commented on this video.
No, they didn't. Like, oh, because we say it's in New York and they say it's in New Jersey. No, they didn't. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I think it's on Instagram. I think it's on Instagram.
If you're a hater out there on our page, look, we need you. We love you. But some of y'all got the wildest takes that are so insane. I try to keep my cool on lives, but man, oh man, inside I'm like, these got to be the dumbest motherfuckers ever. That's so funny. Yeah. Well, so, and I should know that. That's only about an hour away from me.
Yeah. There you go.
That's funny.
Man. Yeah, but in terms of the game, yeah, I'm with you guys. I really think the recipe, the one good thing for a bad team is a shitty team, and I think that's what we're looking at right now with the Jets. And I think the Bengals can definitely get right. It has not been easy, but the Jets are not going to put up, I think, that kind of fight. I mean, we saw maybe a half of good football when they played the Ravens. Like, oh, wait a minute, are they for real? Are they contenders? And then Baltimore just blew them out. But I think the Bengals get their footing right. I think Burrow, Higgins, Chase, the whole crew, they feast.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, this one has moved in our favor. I think it's unanimously -6 now in most places.
Yeah. The public is heavy on this one, and I can't lie. I'm with the public here. To the kind of narrative you just put out there, Steve. Like, look, if I have to bet, which we're the model's saying we do, it makes a lot of sense to me that if there's going to be one team that can they get a week and they can figure it out, when they do figure it out, the upside is up. Mm-hmm. It's way up, right? I mean, right. If they won by 30 points, you would be like, oh, there's the Bengals, they're back, right? The narrative will be they're back, not like, what the hell is this? Yeah, like, whoa, what are these people? I mean, you got Chase, Higgins, you got mad, weapons all around. So I think that's what I think, and I know is driving the model, right? It's just historic performance, and it just hasn't learned enough yet if the Bengals are truly going to be this like horrible dog shit team. But I think that here's the perfect get right spot. Perfect on the road in a hostile environment in New Jersey, and you this was one of the more embarrassing losses last year. I mean, what better way to stick it to them than to go off on them?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean the Jets are giving up basically 35 points a game.
Yeah.
The first two games, so I mean,
and they shouldn't have won last week. And people are acting like they're geniuses. I love these people. Like I told you, people are I told you. It's like, you told me nothing for 59 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're a genius. Like, oh man, but I think this is a regression to the mean. We're hoping for that this week with the model, and I think the Bengals are preparing to do the same exact thing. I think they're going to be. This has got to be the time when they're not going to go 0-17. So if you're going to beat, you're not going to be good. And you're going to get some wins. These are the teams you got to get the wins from. So looking good. Okay, one of probably the most marquee matchups here. Bucks. That's Green Bay going to Tampa Bay. So, and that spread is actually moved to -1.5, depending on where you get it. I've even seen it. I think it's a pick'em on Caesar.
I've seen pick'em on a few.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. Obviously, Bucks are pretty depleted. One thing, in research that I found, and I was kind of wondering where he'd end up. Cole Beasley, signed for the Bucks. I don't know what. Yeah, exactly. Check out his COVID diss tracks. I heard they're pretty big. I don't know what Tom Brady. He's the Instagram whisperer. I guess him. The rumor is Cole
DM'd him, didn't he?
Yeah, Cole. But then also Julio Jones. Same thing. He said that he got in touch with Tom Brady via Instagram. This dude just sliding into DMs like, "What you up to, baby girl?" So I don't know. This one is interesting. I think for me, the defense is really what is giving me hope. I mean, that defense could. I mean, let's not overreact. They basically lost to probably a mediocre Vikings, and then they beat, probably, no offense, Steve, a poor Chicago team. So, if Rodgers goes up with those receivers right now to an elite defense where they can't run the ball, this is fixing to not be good, even if Tom Brady can't put up a whole lot of points. So, Kevin, what is your breakdown and take here?
Yeah, I mean, for all the concern that there is about, Brady not having guys, not having A-list dudes on the offensive side of the ball, or maybe
Yeah.
just on the team broadly, like, no, to take a step back, man, the A-list dudes are on the defense. Like, that is a
Yeah.
very, very good defense. So yeah, I mean, with the small spread, if this was a little bit larger, like 3.5 or 4 or something, I forget if it would be a play for us. If it would be basically, yeah, actually, you're right. It would.
It's
no
a
matter
big
what. I
margin.
would feel a little less emotionally secure about it, but especially now being even at -1 pick'em type of situation, I do not think this is unreasonable at all, frankly.
Yeah.
So to your point, Seth, yeah, I think the defense is gonna be the one who turns the tide here for sure.
Yeah, that's the only weapon they got, right? So that's the one they got to flex. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, listen, as a Bears fan, I definitely want Rodgers to lose whenever he can. But I'm not gonna lie, it does. No Evans, no Jones, no Godwin. That does scare me. But again, who's done more with less than Tom Brady, right? I mean, so and Russell Gage, they've got Gage, they got Perriman, they got Miller, so they've got folks who are decent, and again, it's a Brady, and then they got Cameron Brady at the tight end position, so
they got Cole Beasley now, baby.
They got Cole Beasley, right? So I think to your point, to what you both guys said, the defense is going to step up. I mean, Randall Cobb's like 57. And then
how I looked into this. Do you know how old Randall Cobb is?
57. No, how old is he?
30,
he's
32.
Literally the same age as us. He's 32.
Oh,
dude, I was like, oh, damn, that kind of hurts.
Yeah, I know. That dream is dead, baby. Yeah, I'm not making it to the league, man. Yeah.
I'm 57 in NFL years.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I think the defense steps up. This is definitely one where I think Tom Brady. Again, it's Brady. I'm never gonna count him out. Hate him or love him. The dude's the GOAT. Yep. So I will say though, my question to you, Seth, is you mentioned that Brady's an Instagram whisperer. Do you think that Brady's sliding into these guys' DMs like Beasley and Jones, or do you think it's Giselle that's sliding the DMs? Maybe a little bit of upside down pineapple thing going on. Like, hey, you come to Tampa.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, man. I feel for the guy. I could only imagine being Tom Brady. You have you're literally the most elite at one thing, and it does conflict with life, right? I mean, yeah, you can't. It's hard to be a father, a husband, and all these things when you're you have to be dialed in for 6 months out of the year.
Right.
Yeah. So who knows, man? I empathize with the guy. Obviously, he'll figure it out. The one thing I wanted to say, Steve, is who else has done more with less? I think if Tom Brady's 1, I think Aaron Rodgers is 2. Sure. Unfortunately,
he's
So that's the only thing that but man, yeah, I love this pick. If you have Evans, you have Godwin, AB, I really do.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I do. I would really feel a lot better. And for all the people asking, those things aren't taken into the model. That's not really a reasonable expectation, guys. You can't be going back and seeing who's hurt for every injury. It would be impossible to keep a database of those things. But I think for me, the only way that this, and I guess this still makes sense to me just because of the defense, right? If you can get one turnover here, and you win by a field goal, I can see that being the scenario here. Sure. And it's just a grind, right? We know Packers are going to be running the ball, that they're successful at that. They're probably going to have to lean on that. We saw this for most of the Bucks Saints game, right? This was just back and forth, grind. And it just came down to really one play. It just came down to one play. So it's really, in my mind, is that going to be Tampa Bay that makes the play? Hopefully, right? And then kick a field goal and move on. So that's kind of my take. And good luck to Tom Brady with all of his all endeavors in and off the field, right? Okay. Well, yeah. Speaking of another New England Patriots alumni coming from the Bill Belichick tree, we got the Tennessee Titans. This is in Tennessee. And who are they playing? They're playing
the Raiders.
You guys remember?
Raiders, yeah.
Raiders, yes. Las Vegas Raiders are coming down into Tennessee, Nashville. This is a big Belichick matchup, right? You got Vrabel on one side and then Josh McDaniels in his first year on the other side. Both teams not really too impressive, although I think the Titans are probably less impressive than the Raiders. So this one's a little interesting. Steve, what are your initial kind of thoughts here. What are you thinking about the spread?
I hate this pick. So if you guys watch us, you'll hear us occasionally say, this whole thing is fuck your feelings, right? We're betting with the model, we're betting with data, and it's not emotional, and that's the whole point, right? So we don't let emotion or gut or whatever you want to call it guide us in and out of picks. So I'm betting this, right? But man, as a football fan, I do not like. Now listen. The Bills are elite. They're otherworldly. They're the Super Bowl champ favorites for a reason, right? So I know they just got shellacked, 41-7 against Buffalo, and then they barely lost against New York Giants.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the Raiders haven't really achieved much either. I think they're kind of underwhelming from what the preseason expectations were. But just like we talk about the Bengals, as a fan, I could totally see this being the get right game for Las Vegas. I really can. But we're gonna roll with it. The Titans 2.5. So hopefully Derrick Henry gets on track, and Tannehill can just navigate the ship. But that's my honest feeling. We're not here to lie to you. Again, I'm betting it, and the money's on it. I believe in the model, but it scares me.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about it's a ho hum game for me. Yeah, these two teams, it's a very unsexy game. There's nothing really to look forward to in my opinion from this one. But to your point too, Steve, when I saw this output, I'm like, damn it. All right.
Shit.
Well, gotta take it, I guess. I mean, they look like trash. I mean, I hate to say this, but Derrick Henry just doesn't look the same yet.
No,
maybe.
And the data backs that up. I forget exactly what the DOVA ranking is, but they're way up there in run offense. I mean, they're struggling, and Henry specifically is struggling. So
So
and then I think Taylor Lewan tore his ACL, I believe.
Oh, did he? Yeah. See, that's not good, man. It's not good. So this one is interesting. And again, I know a lot of the data going into the model is historical at this point, and they were the number one seed last year in the AFC. They were a good team.
Yep.
And Henry was borderline MVP candidate. So I get it from that perspective. But this one looks like dog shit, frankly.
What about you, Seth?
Man, this is I don't feel good. But you just coach of the year, Vrabel. I mean, something I've definitely learned about myself in doing this now and being public facing and really the lives. It's so clear now. It's a week to week narrative that is so clearly being driven by just what happened, and there's not a lot of. It's very difficult to be accountable to the whole story, to the whole totality of data. And this feels bad, but literally if you break it down, they're one 40-yard, 35-yard field goal away from winning in their first game.
Yep.
They gave up a 14-point lead. That's not cool, but Saquon's a legit guy, right? And but they make that, they win. Okay, then they're 1-1. Okay, all of a sudden you're 2.5, 1-1 road dogs. You're talking yourself into how this is major value, right? So, I have caution with this one, but of the ones on here that I'm worried that I could see a scenario where this covers, maybe more than some other ones, but this one's a we'll see. This was similar to New England, Pittsburgh for me, I don't really know about it. So we'll see. So I guess that we'll move into Commanders +8. This one's in Washington or wherever the hell they play that game.
Technically Maryland.
Maryland. Okay. Is it Maryland? Okay.
Landover, Maryland. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Let's go Commanders. They have the Philadelphia Eagles coming into town. Philly is obviously red hot off of a dominating win over the Vikings on Monday Night Football. They look damn good. They look like they're clicking on all cylinders, offense, defense, just everything. Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball. He's running the ball. He can do it all. Commanders, I think they're sneaking a little bit under the radar here. They are Carson Wentz has the second most yards, I believe, passing yards. So, I mean, that's impressive. And maybe Carson, the Colts experiment there, maybe Carson wasn't so bad. I don't know here. I don't know. So Steve, break this down for us. How's this one making you feel? Is it similar to Titans? Is it one of your top ones?
Fuck no. Listen, yeah, no, to be fair, this definitely it reminds me more of the Patriots Ravens game for me, in the sense that I'm kind of torn. Where I think your gut reaction is, dude, Eagles are hot. They are rolling. They're going to steamroll the Commanders. They're all systems are go. I could easily see this being a backdoor cover, and a pretty easy backdoor cover. Honestly, I can see the Eagles getting up, fairly by a fair margin early on, kind of let the gas off the brakes in the late third, early fourth, and the Commanders come back and lose by 6-7 points. So I do really like this pick. When you look at the stats here, like you mentioned, Carson has the second most passing yards in the league. Now you can argue, is that because they're playing from behind? How much that's garbage time? But the yards are there. The completion percentages him and Hurts are pretty comparable. What I found was interesting is, so Carson has 7 TD passes. Hurts only has 1. That kind of surprised me, and then I think it was that one that was really on a busted play from the Minnesota game. So
he might run for more than he throws this year.
Yeah, I know he rushed for
he is. Yeah.
Right. That's yeah. So passing touchdowns. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I get why the public would be high on the Philly, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be, and I can get why people might shit on this pick, but I actually feel fairly comfortable this is going to be close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that makes one of us. Yeah. No, I think this is. I do not like this one tiny bit, and I'll give credit where credit's due. Like, Wentz has been, I think, better than advertised. So I gotta give him some props on that front. But I think, and I think there's relative data to back this up too, that the Eagles are steamrolling at this point. They're very good.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Wentz situation, how long that can be sustained for. There's just digging back into the memory banks and all the other years in Philly and Indy, et cetera. Like, he's just unlikely in my mind to put it together for a full season or even an extended duration of time. So when I saw this one, I'm like, all right, now you gotta even buy points to get +8. Fuck, all right.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I didn't cut you off, Kev.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, I am. I'm penciling in an L next to this one already.
Yeah. So I want to get your view on this, because you talk about regression, with the Bengals and things like that.
Yeah.
I know. What do you feel about this game? Because do you think that we talked about how with our model, guys, we're using data week in, week out, and so when you're using 1 week's worth of data to add to the repository, so to speak, it's going to take multiple weeks to actually make a difference in the model's mind of like, oh, this is legitimate, not just some outlier, right?
Yep, exactly.
And so I want to get your opinion on this, because like Kev mentioned, Eagles are rolling right now, but they faced a Lions team who it's TBD if they're actually good this year, right?
Yeah.
Or they're legit. Let's say, I know they're darling. But, and then you had the shellacking of the Vikings, but that was primetime Kirk, and everyone knows about primetime Kirk. So, Seth, how do you feel about the game?
Except the model, apparently.
Right.
Yeah, I honestly, my opinion here is this is the shit that makes me feel like a sharp. This is the shit that's like, where like I can see it. I can totally see it, just like you, Steve. Like, this is the divisional game, week 3.
Right.
Carson Wentz is slanging the ball. And by the way, did we just see this? Have we already seen this? The proxy here. This is a team that struggles with the run, the Lions, and potentially, this may be a crazy statement, but is Jared Goff throwing the ball better right now than Hurts? Maybe, right? So did we already see this game? And that was at the end, even though the Lions were running away, they pulled it back, and in the 8-point spread, we're going to be right there, I think. And this is a divisional game, guys. These games are just played a little differently. And that is something that is in the model. So the things that I do like about it, to your point, Kevin, this doesn't make me all warm and fuzzy. Like, I could see a scenario, no doubt, where we lose, but I like that it's technically 1 possession, but for the reality of this is a 2-possession spread. And that in a divisional game where Carson is throwing the ball, and if they get behind, what they're going to have to do, throw the ball, and whoopsie daisy, they score a touchdown on you in the last 30 seconds on fourth down, and what do you know? You're on the right side of history.
Right.
We've been there before. And so, yeah, this is something, and I've seen it. I've seen it over and over and doing all the analysis. When there's a reason, guys, we buy the points when the model says we have to. It's not because it makes us feel better. I promise you, it's not that. I don't want to be paying I paid like $4.11 or something for this spread to win 300. Like, I don't want to be paying juice like that. But the reality is, guys, over the course of the season, you're going to see that Philly wins by 7. Chicago wins by 3, and you're going to say, "Oh, fuck, okay." I promise you, it may not happen this week, but you're going to see a couple of games, 4 or 5 games, where buying what the model told you rather than just saying, "Oh, it didn't matter," and it goes from a win to a loss. You'll thank us and thank the model. So overall, I like this pick. It makes me feel smart. I like to feel smart, but it may be making me feel real dumb here in a couple of days. So I'm up for that.
That's all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, rounding it off here, we got the last pick. This ended up being the last pick of last week as well. This is the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, this won't be played on Monday night. This is a divisional game. We got, is this in Detroit or is this in Minnesota? I think this is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So going back home, Minnesota, as I don't think the video is up, but it will be up probably by then. No Kirk Cousins, no problem, right, Kevin? What this one is interesting here. I do, is this? This one's tricky. I have to say, when I get the feedback from the people, I feel like I don't know what to agree or disagree with. This one's tricky.
I'm on the same page as them too, and I mean, for the most part, just looking at like the where the money's at right now, that's kind of the sentiment, in the public side too. It's actually leaning a little bit towards the Lions as far as the money goes, but yeah, I don't know what to expect, frankly, from this one, because after week 1 with the Vikings, you're thinking, all right, yeah, new offense, new coach, new offensive coordinator, like they're gonna get this thing rolling, man. Like they look good, right? And then, come crashing back down in prime time, because that's what Kirk Cousins does. He flops in prime time. And then, with the Lions too, man, they look to have some extra juice this year. They may not be the Lions of old. They covered the first time as a favorite in 24 games, whatever it was. So like exciting times to be a Lions
Model had it.
fan,
Model picked it, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. So I could very much see this one really going in either way. I know the model leans pretty heavily on towards the Vikings, but actually it doesn't, and it's only by 7.6 is the lower end of the conference interval. So we're right there. I guess it depends on what you're looking at, or how you want to compare it, because has them all, potentially winning all the way up to 3-possession game.
Sure.
But I coin flip, man. Really, frankly, I guess for me, I would not be surprised if they cover, and I would not be surprised if Lions win outright either.
Really? Okay. I think this moved in our direction. I believe. I think did it open at 6? Or did
it hasn't moved really at all. It opened at 6.5, and it's
6.5
at 6 still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What, Steve? I'm confused here. What do you? Where's your mind at with this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to say, you got the moon landing, right?
What?
You got Jordan's flu game, and you got the Lions covering as a favorite. Like, these are things in our lifetime that, like, imagine of all the years to be alive on this planet, we were alive when the Lions covered as a favorite. Like, that's wild.
The model predicted it,
and the model called it. But with that being said, I think that's about as good as the warm and fuzzies get. So I think this is going to be a classic. I think the public may have that classic recency bias where they're looking at an overreaction to that absolute beat down that happened in Philly. And primetime Kirk. And now listen, is primetime Kirk a real thing? You look at the record, you look at all the things that go into that. Sure, debatable. But with that being said, though, I think this team is a good team, and I think you had a bad outing for a good team, and I think the ceiling is going to be way higher for Minnesota than it is going to be for Detroit. So I think they get back on track. I think Thielen and Jefferson absolutely cook Dalvin in the backfield. So and that defense is going to eat. So I'm not surprised. I feel pretty comfortable. I actually like this pick. I can see Vikings winning by a touchdown for sure.
I I think they only targeted Thielen 2 times.
Yeah.
So you
I don't know what's up with him, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Or is that just Kurt struggling and he was just looking for Jefferson?
Right.
You know, I could see you go back, you look over the film, you can take a lot from that game. I think that there's a lot to be learned. The new head coach is supposed to be this offensive guru guy. You know, you got to believe that that's his MO. Then, you know, he better be able to put something together. It looks like, you know, the Lions may be able to score, but I think it's clear through the 2 games they're not going to be able to. They're really not going to have a strong defense.
Yeah, that's not going to be the strength for sure.
Yeah, you know, you can see how that may then come into be their Achilles heel if they get in a high scoring game with elite talent, and then Jared Goff does some Jared Goff stuff.
Right. And then don't forget, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut real quick. Like, don't forget, like, so Cousins threw 3 interceptions, and I 2 of them where they were driving, and one for sure was in the goal. I think 2 may have been in the red zone, and one was on the goal line.
Brutal.
And I think
one wasn't his fault though. The one in the red zone was Jefferson's fault. Then
he cut behind the defender.
But the run was like, I had I was depleted by hope, so I didn't really get hope by then. But I saw like, they could score, and then maybe backdoor. But
yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, this one's interesting. Like, this is another one similar to Titans, where it's like I don't really have an opinion. I could live in both worlds where this is the dumbest pick or the smartest pick.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like week 2. I mean, taking it from top to bottom. I mean, I don't feel strongly one way or the other. Frankly, I mean, it's a hodgepodge of like, feeling really good about some, shitty about others, and like, meh. So
let's do this, Kevin. Give me your favorite and your most deplorable pick on this card.
All right, Chargers -7. Runaway favorite for me again, assuming Herbert is the
assuming
guy
Herbert,
is under center, slam dunk for me. And the one that I think I am not going to lose sleep over, but I fucking hate. I don't like Commanders +8.
Okay,
frankly.
All right, hey, all right,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. What about you, Steve?
I mean, that's fucking treason, but I guess that's fair. Yeah. You know, it's a tie for me. I really love the Chargers -7. I feel, listen, it's not about me being a fan, but I really like that Chicago -2 against Houston.
Of course it's not. Of course it's not.
Yeah. Well, no, listen, I think we're gonna go, you know, 2 and 15 or whatever. But no, it's
these are the 2 wins.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do think this is a statement game for Chicago. So this is more of my emotion. Again, this is just me as a fan. So I think they have something to prove here. And the one I absolutely hate with a passion, it's going to be the Titans +2.5. But, you know, we're locked in already, so we're going to do it. But that one scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, man. I'm with you, Kevin. The charge, like I was looking today just as a degenerate, like, what is like win by 40? How much does that pay? Because honestly, that's the vibes I'm getting by this game. Like, I think Sunshine's throwing 3 picks. You heard it here, 3 picks.
Yeah.
If over under 2.5, I'm slamming 3 over. So I'm gonna go roll with Chargers favorite, which scares me a little bit that we all like that so much, and we just like can't fathom it not. But with the model also agreeing, it makes me feel a little bit better. And then, man, what's the worst here? You know, the one now I didn't connect these dots, but now that you guys have shown me, the one that maybe it's not that I don't like it the most. The one that's going to be the most stressful is this Saints one. I didn't realize it's a triple. It's a triple bet. I did not realize this. I don't know that I've ever had a triple bet before. So there's a lot. That's the most stressful pick. Let's say that. And then probably the one I hate is, sorry, Steve, I gotta go Chicago. I just feel like Houston is improving, and I think that tie was big for them, and I could just see like they just gritty this one. You know, they win by a touchdown, they win by a field goal, but
you know, Houston reminds me of like Appalachian State, where like I think they beat the good teams that they're not supposed to beat, or tie the teams that they're not supposed to tie, and then when they get back to folks in their own neighborhood like the Chicago Bears, they shit the bed. But we'll see.
We didn't talk about it though. This is a Lovie Smith. This is back to Chicago. This is Lovie going back to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. Is this the first time he's been a head coach since then?
Well, see, he was coaching for NIU, Northern Illinois, for a few years after that.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, not NIU, Illinois. Final
okay.
Illini. So he's been in Chicago the whole time, So I mean, he was there, went
Gotcha.
to Tampa, came back, went to Illinois. So yeah,
So
I don't think
it's
it's
his revenge game. This is his revenge game.
Dude, I love it. Lovey's too nice. He's too mild mannered to have a revenge game. I don't
That's
think
true,
it's
man.
How do you hate you guys
How do
over?
you hate Lovey, man?
What's that?
So how do you hate Lovey? I don't know. Yeah, he's
That's a dope beard. That's the beard I aspire to have.
Yeah. So
but it's gonna be a fun week, man. Nine games, and again, no Thursday night, no Monday night. So like,
I
looked
be a lot. 6 of these games is 1 o'clock slate. So literally by 6 o'clock or come 3:30, for Eastern, we could be profitable. We may not even have to sweat afternoon games. We could all be extra. So that's what I'm hoping for. All right, the last segment we have is the Circa update for where we're at, how things are going with the Circa competition. And again, just to give anybody context doesn't know what that is, we joined the Circa Millions. First place to first place gets $1 million, and then there's prizes from 100 up to the 100th place, right? And then last place gets 100,000.
Yep.
Yeah. We have to pick 5 spreads a week, and a win or correct pick gets a 1 point spread. What is push? 0.5, half?
0.5.
Yeah.
0.5. Okay. And then obviously if you get it wrong, it's a 0. So I guess we can go back to this. We went week 1. We went 4-1. So we had a really good week 1. We were tied for 250th or something like this. Something like that. And then Kevin, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, we had overall the model went 3-7.
Last week.
Week 2, and so we went 1-4 on our Circa picks.
Okay. I thought I was. What games did we pick? We picked Chiefs wrong. Ravens wrong.
Chiefs,
Lions.
Ravens,
I thought we had 310. I thought we had the 310 point spreads.
I'm not sure, but we're let me give you the punchline here. So we're 5-5 on the Circa picks, tied for 1,180th place. out of it's like, oh shit,
like 4,600.
Okay, so guys, we're ahead of the curve.
No, it's like, well, there's like 7,000 or 8,000 total entries.
So we're even better.
If that's what you meant. But
yeah, I thought we took. I thought we took the 3. I thought we took the 3 point spread. So I thought we went 2 and 3. But
yeah, we'd have to look back. But we're 5-5.
But if you looked it up on the website, then that's what was logged in. So then we went 5.
So we're right in the middle of the pack. So a good
500.
week. We're 500. And there are a few people who are undefeated so far, which is pretty wild through 2 weeks even. But it's a long season. It's a long season. So we got some room to make up. But
So why don't we do this? Why don't we do the? Oh yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, we took Chiefs -4, Ravens -3.5, Broncos -10, Packers -10, Vikings +2.
We didn't go with the Lions. Gotcha. All good. So why don't we do this? We have to submit our picks. Why don't we pick them here real time? Let the people into our conversation, and is that you guys feel comfortable doing that?
Sure. Yeah.
Fine by me. Yeah.
Because we have to. We use the model, guys, but because it's 5 picks, we have to dwindle them down based off of what we think. So
I think one of the things we talked about too was I think this is why we picked the ones we did for last week. It was we mostly picked the 1-year model.
Oh, okay, it was the 1-year model.
Steve, is that your understanding too?
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay.
I was just going to say, there are some slight differences with that. So just we might make a mental note for you guys. So when the Circa picks go live, they are frozen in time. So the movie you're going to see in real time, even a movie we may have on the cards, doesn't necessarily reflect what the picks are within the Circa contest. So
it's for instance, a bit of a different strategy.
Yeah. So Saints are -2.5.
Oh,
okay.
Chicago's right. So Chicago's -2.5. Chargers -7. That's fair. That's fair. So I no one ever remember your name. Patriots. Patriots are plus 2.5.
Okay.
Bengals are -6.
Really?
So a lot of these are going against us. Well, making it harder for us. Bucks is a pick'em. So that's a big difference.
Yeah. That's
all right.
Yeah, and then Titans are +2. Commanders are +6.5, which is real. And then Vikings are -6. So
okay.
All right. So
go ahead.
We for sure like Saints.
Well, we can do two things right off the bat. Technically, based off those, Chicago and Commanders fall off because they don't actually meet the criteria.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
At those spreads. So we can boom. Okay. So now we have 6.
Yep. So Saints -2.5.
I like that.
I like that a lot too. Yeah.
We all like that. Okay.
Chargers -7. I think we're all
Chargers -7.
Like that.
Yep. Bucks pick'em.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
I could get behind it, but can we go to somewhere else? I hate it. I hate this. Patriots +2. No one's going to take this. If this wins, dude, this is a win that not a lot of people are going to get except the best.
They're 2.5.
2.5.
Exactly. It's even worse. That's what makes me love it.
Well, but okay. Well, it's true, but only if they actually cover.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's life in a nutshell.
Yeah, true.
I only like you if you like me.
Well, hey, we don't have a ton of choice, frankly. There's only one other one that we have to debate on. Because
I guess it's between that or Titans.
Yeah. So which one?
So
okay,
Steve, I'll say this. Let's break down this matchup. Titans +2.5. I think you said, right?
Titans are +2 even.
2 even. Okay. So I like that you can get a push there, but 2 is a weird number to push at.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Before we get there, so we're down to the Titans right now. Is it between Titans? So we're doing Bengals -6. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think we should.
Well, we haven't because there's only 6 picks, so there's only really one. Well, I guess we should really just which one do we not want to take?
Yeah,
that's how we should do this.
I think the Bengals are a slam for sure. So yeah, which one do you guys hate the most? Titans or Patriots?
I hate the Titans the most.
I hate the Titans the most, which makes me maybe even like it more. But let's break this down. Let's truly break this matchup down. Titans cannot run the ball, which is what they do, and that's scary because how do you just turn that on? That's a function of the offensive line. They potentially have their tackle towards ACL. He's not playing. I don't know if he did tear his ACL, but he's not playing, so it doesn't look good there. They already couldn't run the ball with him. Tannehill is, I think, the second lowest attempts. They're not even trying to run pass the ball.
Yeah,
like
it's a prototypical game manager at best. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, how do they win the game? And on the other side, you can see Derek Carr just got to slang it up 1 or 2 times, and whoopsie daisy, Devontae scores. I think Renfro is out with a concussion. I'm not sure. I know he has a concussion. I don't know if he's going to be out. But nonetheless, I mean, they have other weapons.
Right.
So that
and I'm with you. If the Titans become one-dimensional with Tannehill because they're down by 10, 14 points. I don't know what you do with that.
I mean, now I don't feel that much better about the Patriots getting down, but at least they can run the ball. Yeah, at least you can say they're going to have a good defense. I mean, what do you look on film for Las Vegas or Titan? Like, what are the Titans going to implement in their game plan? Like, okay, we're going to do all this stuff on defense, and then we're going to run the ball better. We're going to pass to the people that we don't have. Like, what is the game plan?
Yeah, and for what it's worth, so I lean on to the Patriots. I think I lean on the Patriots pick. I'd rather that would be my vote. Yeah, that would be my vote
to take. Yeah,
to take. Yes.
Yeah.
And to the points you mentioned, Seth, but the intangibles, like who do you trust more to like figure out some shit to stop Lamar?
Yeah. In a week,
Belichick. You get. I mean, it's hard to count that genius out. Basically,
true.
Defensive mind. So. I don't like either one, frankly. I'm not crazy about it, but I think it's
lesser of two evils. Bigger balls and take Commanders. I mean, we did this week 1. We don't necessarily have to follow the strict rules. We didn't do that for week 1, and that paid off pretty high for us. I think Commanders. I know you hate it, Kevin, but I think Commanders.
If you guys are on board with it, then
I don't like that we can't push. I hate 6.5. I don't like 6.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think we all agree we can drop Titans off, but we still, even if we leave the Commanders off as well, we still have another slot to drop off because we have 2 picks, Saints, Chargers. We got 3 spots for 4 teams. We got Pats, Vikings, Bengals, Bucks. So who else is going to drop off?
No, it should be. Oh, you're right. You're right. I did my math wrong. It's 2 minus 9 is 7, not 6.
Indeed.
Okay, so we got Saints, Chargers, Patriots, Bucks. We need to find one more.
You guys don't like the Bengals?
Well, no, I know that's what I'm saying. So hold on. We got Saints, Chargers for sure. I thought we were, and then we kicked off the Titans, Bears, and Commanders. Yep. So right now, for the fighting for the last 3 spots are 4 teams: Bengals, Bucks, Vikings, Patriots. Right? Okay.
Yeah, so I think Bengals. I think we like the Bengals.
All right, so we like the Bengals.
Yeah.
That's the most square pick ever, but
yeah, even at -6, I like them.
Yeah, 1 possession.
All right, so 3 teams, 2 spots: Pats, Vikings, Bucks, and Bucks to pick them.
I would say Bucks, Patriots. That would be my 5.
Bucks pick them, is good.
Just defense.
And I would agree with that. Bucks and Patriots, final 2 for me.
Yeah. Now, for what it's worth, I would say Bucks, Vikings, but we live in a democracy, so we'll go.
Okay. Well, let's explore it. We don't have any dogs, so we're going to take all favorites. That's the only thing that scares me.
No, Patriots. No.
I think that's if we went Vikings, it would be Saints, Chargers, Bucks, Bengals, Vikings. All favorites.
Well, hey, we only have Commanders don't meet the criteria at 6.5.
Yeah, but it's right there. But I agree. I mean, and you already don't like it. I don't like Chicago, but I could be convinced because it's only 2.5, right? So a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the strategy here? I mean, I feel like we should go after. So all the square bettors are going to bet exactly what we're betting. No problem there. That doesn't mean anything really. But is there a play here that a lot of people aren't going to take that can help us? I guess not really.
Yeah, well, I mean, to the point earlier though. So if you're talking about, what's the balance between strategy and risk and whatnot. So Vikings, you get 6, you get the push opportunity there, right?
Correct.
Patriots, it essentially, they can lose by 1 or 2, but what are the likelihoods of that? So really, they're going to have to, and we can't push because it's 2.5, right?
Yeah,
so,
can't push.
So, I mean, I think for me, my thought at least is, I just as a gut thing, right? Because these are both model picks. One, I think the Vikings are a more competent team relative to their opposition.
By
and
low.
The Vikings playing the Lions and then the Patriots against the Ravens. And then 2, there's opportunity for the push there where in reality, yes, the Patriots can lose by 1 or 2, but effectively you're counting them to win or tie as a real outcome.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I think you convinced me. I'll take Vikings 6. I don't know if Kevin, what's your thought?
No, fair thesis. Yeah. I mean,
I like the strategy. I like pushes. I do. I think people underestimate pushing and the value of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think in the long run, we'll look back in that and say that earned us a few more points over the course of the season.
Week 1, we took Kansas City. I think the only dog we had was Patriots.
Let's see. I can pull that up for you.
Kansas City. We had New York. No, that would have been
Commanders.
Commanders. They were favorite.
Yep.
Buffalo.
Yeah. So week 1 we had Bills -2.5, Patriots +3.5, Commanders -2.5, Chiefs -6, Giants +6.
So we took 2 dogs. Okay. But one of the dogs lost.
Yeah.
So. Okay, let's do it. Saints. So there it is, guys. Saints, Chargers, Bengals, Bucks, Vikings. The spreads are a little bit different than you see here, but that's going to be the Circa pick. Kevin, you said we're 5-5. 500. Okay, so this is perfect, baby. We're gonna be 10-5. No problemo. We'll back up the leaderboard, and I think we'll see what ends up happening. thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed, the third episode. We're going to do this every week. So if this is something that's interesting, just, like, comment, tell us that this is something that's fun to you, or you want to see something else, or you want us to incorporate anything. We'd love to get any feedback. But yeah, I hope this is entertaining. I hope the model is teaching you a lot, or you're fading it, or you're following it and tailing it. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much from Bully the Board. We love that you guys are interested at all. And we're very grateful for all of the comments and likes and even the shit talkers. So without anything else, guys, let's have a week 3, a really good one, a positive one. Let's get some good luck bounced back our way. Let's regress to the 60% that we think we'll be following at the end of the year. But any sign-offs for Kevin and Steve?
Yeah, if you think we're actually not funny, then let us know too. That would be helpful. But let's go Duncan.
Let's go Duncan.
Yeah, I would say for all the fact checkers out there, like fact check us on our stadium locations, fact check us on all of our in any little detail you can think of. No, man.
Yeah.
Listen. My take home point, my sign off is, listen, we're betting with you guys. We're happy when we win. When you win, we're sad when you lose, and we lose when you're telling. So like when we win, like we're not doing this, without putting our own money where our mouth is. So we want to win just as much as you do, and we want to have fun. So week 2 was definitely a shitty week, bad beats left and right, no excuses. We're gonna get bounced back, and looking forward to week 3 and beyond.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, everybody. We'll see you in week 4, and let's have a good week 3. Take care.